I'm LaBossiere. I'm a guy from Maine who went to school in Ohio and ended up as a philosophy professor in Florida. Now, in terms of the background for this project, which is 99 books for 99 cents, sort of the first book in the series began back in the ancient days of the 1990s. I wrote a program called Fallacy Tutorial, which later became Fallacy Tutorial Pro. It's back then, putting pro on the name, the end of the name, made it sound, pro. But the object of this software was to provide people with information about, shockingly enough, fallacies. And after the software was out there for a while, people emailed me asking if they could have the text to use for their classes and various other purposes. And of course, I agreed to it. And then later on, people asked me, once PDF came into existence, they asked me if I could make it available in PDF format. And I did that. And then when Amazon came up with this new thing, Kindle, people asked me, could I make the book available in that way? And this led to the publication of my first actual ebook, The 42 Fallacies, which became originally available on the Kindle. And then people asked if I could make that available on the Nook, which I later did. Now, I began with 42 Fallacies. It's been shockingly successful for a philosophy book. Now, I've written many other books as well, and my latest and current book in the philosophy series is the strangely named A Six Gun for Socrates, which is a philosophical look at guns, violence, and rights. And so I've written quite a few books in philosophy. In addition to the writings in philosophy, I also write stuff in gaming. Seemed like an odd combination, philosophy and gaming, but they're both, closely related. They both deal with, new or old ideas and attempting to present people with things that are of interest and hopefully educational. And so I do, both things, philosophy for the education part and also the gaming for the entertainment, and hopefully blend them together a little bit. Now, in terms of the gaming projects, my first ebook in gaming, laying aside all the freak PDFs I've released over the decades, was the aptly named Little Island, because it's about shockingly enough, a little island, and all kinds of bad monsters and stuff on it. But I used the old school, D&D style module labeling. It's A1, number 1, an RPG adventure for levels 1 to 3, and for the Pathfinder role-playing game. Of course, it's not an official Pathfinder product, it's merely compatible. And I've written quite a few adventures, and currently the latest one is A91 Chetan, an RPG adventure for levels 1 through 3, also for the Pathfinder system. So I've written all these books, and sometime back, when my father was asking me about what I was up to during the summer, when the budget cuts meant that I wasn't teaching, I said, well, I'm writing a lot of books. And he said, well, you're writing a lot of books. And I said, I certainly am. And I jokingly, said that my plan is to write 99 books for 99 cents. And at first, this was pretty much just a joke. But then I hit on the idea, that's actually a pretty reasonable idea, to come up with 99 of these books for 99 cents. And so the objective is to do just that, to come up with books to the total of 99, and each one will be available for 99 cents. Now, in terms of the project itself, the objective, which I've chosen to accept, is to raise $2,500. Now, the first thing is to get 100 ISBN 13s for $575. The ISBN 13s are kind of oddly priced. If you go to the website where they officially distribute them, a single one costs $250, which is pretty expensive. If you buy 100, though, $575. If you buy 1,000, $1,000. And of course, you might wish to speculate as to this pricing scheme, but in order to complete the project, I would need 100 of these ISBNs. Well, rather less, of course, but the pricing is much better for buying them in bulk, whatever that means when it comes to ISBNs. Also, one of my main objectives is to make these books available on all the major formats. Kindle, easily enough. Fortunately, Amazon makes it very easy to publish through their system. They seem to really like people to publish. Barnes & Noble's also pretty straightforward. But the main challenge, of course, is getting out Apple iBooks, which is what the ISBNs are for. Also, interestingly enough, or boringly enough, in order to publish directly through Apple, you kind of got to have their computer, and of course, to preview the books, you got to have an iPad. So I'm sure it's just a coincidence that you need all that stuff to to produce and sell books through the iTunes store. Now, of course, you can bypass all this by going through like a third-party service, but that involves working with a third party, and of course, pretty much involves just putting forth books that are just sort of chopped down plain text. And to me, it seems the whole point of publishing with Apple's cool authoring software and making books available on the iPad and iPod, etc., is to actually take advantage of those features. And so to achieve this goal, and also to replace my aging iBook G4 and my primary writing laptop, which is, I'm embarrassed to say somewhat, is an Asus netbook still running Windows XP, and more often than not Ubuntu, because it's kind of aging. So the objective is to get one 13-inch MacBook Pro for $11.99, the necessary iPad for $4.99, and of course Kickstarter and Amazon payments get their cut, which is approximately $250. So the total is $2,500. Now, if people are extremely generous and contribute more, the stretch goals will basically involve primarily getting commercial versions of software to make better graphics. You've seen the graphics that I produce, and I could probably certainly benefit from better software. And if people are particularly generous, getting someone with some actual talent in cover design to hire them to design the covers. Now, in terms of the classic question, what's in it for you? Well, here's the answer. The rewards are basically this. The most basic level is the $5, which will immortalize your name in all the books that are published once this Kickstarter project is funded, and you'll be immortalized in electronic format. This will last, of course, in terms of how long the electronic format is available. So if there's like a zombie apocalypse, or a squirrel apocalypse, or a zombie squirrel apocalypse, I cannot guarantee your immortality. But at that point, probably the least of our worries would be ebooks at that point. We're probably worried about the squirrels and the zombies, or the zombie squirrels. Now, at higher levels of contribution, basically you get more and more of the books. So if you do like the most sort of basic level, you'd get like either the philosophy books or the gaming books, and they'll be available for direct download in PRC format, which allows you to view them on your computer using appropriate free viewing software like Mobile Pocket Viewer, or converting them to something like Calibre, which is also free. Many of them also will be available in EPUB format. Now, if you do the more generous level of donation or contribution, you'll be able to get one option is getting all the philosophy books, or all the gaming books, or all of both. In which case, they'll be available, all of them in PRC format, EPUB format as well, all the newer ones. And the value will be equal to your contribution. So at the highest level, $100, you'll get all of the books. Well, technically you'll be, $1 short, because it'll be $100 for 99-cent books. Actually a little more short, but anyways. It still seems to be a reasonable deal. So that would be the rewards for contributing. And of course, to see that the project goes to completion. Now, in terms of the timeline for this project, I'm pretty much obsessive compulsive, which is something I learned, from running. So I just keep at things until either I achieve my goal or I die. And I haven't died yet, so keep on achieving those goals. Now, during the typical school year, when I'm teaching, I'm a philosophy professor, I typically teach 4 classes per semester, have a lot of committees, advising, etc., etc. But I'm usually able to produce 1 book per month. And in the summer, when, thanks to the budget cuts, I am not employed, I typically can produce 1 book per week. And this is not just idle boasting. You can go and check my websites and my Amazon.com author page and look at my publication dates and my productivity. So you can be confident that barring a squirrel apocalypse or a zombie apocalypse or a zombie squirrel apocalypse or something of equal destructive nature, that this project will be seen through and your contribution shall not be in vain. And so the project is, of course, 99 books for 99 cents. Thank you.